Hey guys, welcome back. This is Applied Learning Lesson 3. We're going to go through a few pages here in your interactive notebook. So make sure you're kind of ready to rock and roll because we're going to cover some stuff on, like I said, a variety of pages here. All right, so remember at any point you guys can pause so you can copy down whatever you need. So go ahead and pause, copy this down. This will be on page 9. And while you're writing this down, just put something up here. This all comes from a point, X and Y. Your domain are the X's in a point. Your range is the Y. Once again, pause to get this all down. This is also going to be on page 9. So this is looking at domain and range from a graph. I did want to talk you through this a little bit. I tried to give you the verb or the verbiage on the bottom. On domain, these graphs all have little arrows on them. So we need to understand that with parabolas, that's the case. You're expected them to go forever unless they have an open circle. So this graph is just going to keep going to the left forever. As it goes up, it's just going to keep going left. This one goes up, it's just going to keep moving to the right. So that's why it's all real numbers, because looking at this graph from left to right, the graph will exist at some point at that X number. It's going to be super high up, but it'll be there. On the range, we can see that this graph, it doesn't go any lower than that position. That's at negative 25. So this graph goes at the bottom from negative 25, and it just goes up forever. That's what range is. So with range, we go how low does it go to how high up it goes. So this one, the Y values, which is the height, have to be greater than or equal to negative 25. That's where the graph exists, from negative 25 on up. On the domain, this graph exists everywhere from left to right. There is an X value everywhere from left to right. Once again, pause to copy down what you need. Now, we're going to page 11. So this is page 11 in your interactive notebook. We're going to just talk a little bit about lines. So I had an equation here that was not set up in y equals mx plus b form. And I just did the work to break it down. Remember, m is the number next to the x. And in this case, it's a fraction that is next to the x. It's not just a 3. It's 3/8 x. And then the y-intercept is this number over here. I'll use a different color. This is 3/2, but there's a negative in front. So that's the b. B is the y-intercept. So once again, pause to copy this down on page 11. Now also on page 11, it's how do you describe a line? So some things to talk about when we see lines on graphs, we can tell whether it's increasing or decreasing. So we read from left to right. Read from, I already wrote that on here. I don't need to write that. I forgot that I typed it on there. So if you look at a graph from left to right, this one right here is increasing, and this one is decreasing because it's going down from left to right. Steepness is how close to vertical something is. The more vertical, the steeper it is. So this graph, we'll call this graph A, call this graph B. A is steeper than B because you can see it's close, it's vertical. So A is steeper than B. Y-intercept is just which point does it touch the y-axis, and the x-intercept is at which point does it touch the x-axis. So just pause and copy down what you need. And you've got a very short assignment from this lesson. We're just going to do number 1-62. All right, and so this one's asking you about some domain and range stuff from a graph, which is something that we will cover in great detail in our Zoom meeting. If you've already had the Zoom meeting, it should be easy peasy. All right, hey, you guys take care. Be safe. We'll talk to you later.